here. Patch notes 0.9.5. Hi everyone, last week we added badges to the game and we are happy that you guys are having fun with them. In this patch, we play around with our drop distribution a bit. Let's see how we all think about this in a week. Balance-wise, the subclass variety goes in the right direction, but we can clearly see Pyro is a bit too strong and zerker also performed very well, so there will be some nerfs. Don't worry, if we find something was over-nerfed, we will be quick to bring it back up. Key. Badges 10% to appear in the first 3 rounds, previously 25-33. So it's what, a similar overall chance of finding badges, but less chance that you find them exactly on round 1? That's probably a buff to the... Yeah, that's a buff to the class badges and a nerf to the tempo badges. 1% less, yeah. Not super significant. But, like, it's a lot easier to buy the Ranger badge on round 3 than it is to buy the Ranger badge on round 1, and you've already got other stuff in your bag. Where spending 5 of your first 12 gold is a bit rough for something that has minimal effect. Like, you'd rather have a garlic in your bag than a badge most of the time. Well, a non-stone, non-rainbow badge. Wolf badge got nerfed. Interesting. Seems unnecessary, but okay. Rainbow badge, activation delay. You don't get the buffs until second 6 now. Somewhat significant. A little bit less life, a little bit less damage. Stone badge blocks less. Okay. This is still wildly undercosted, but more reasonable to beat early. Still the best econ item in the game. Steel Gear loses another point of block. Sure. Rapier 1.3. So now it's the fastest non-unique item, I believe. Well, non-unique, non-Falcon Blade item. Which maybe makes sense. It is weird that Wooden Sword is randomly tied with the fastest weapons. Hero Longsword, damage +2. That's just the Longsword itself does more damage. Sure. Falcon Blade gets a little bit faster. Crossblades gets a little bit faster. How do you ever make a Crossblades? That can't be real. I have a hard enough time finding 4 whetstones to make a Burning Blade. I can't imagine trying to find 2 more to make a Crossblades. Strong Health Potion, 2 to 3 regen. Huh. That definitely makes taking the upgrade on your Health Potion a lot more interesting. I was already doing it in games where I didn't plan on buying a Hunger Blade. But now you actually get more regen instead of just more healing. If you've got enough herbs, you might even do this if you plan to go Hunger Blade. Like if you randomly have 3 herbs lying around. Just get 3 regen halfway through the fight, rather than having 2 starting regen. Vamp Potion life steals more. Ooh. Buff to Crossblades is a buff to Stone Badge. Is it though? It's a buff to Stone Badge if Crossblades is worth going for. But if there's still other things you'd rather do, it's not really a buff to Stone Badge. Bergenard from Dying. Yeah, like, it's not even that strong when you do get it. Crossblades was overrated before it got nerfed into the ground. Vamp Potion? Getting an extra lifesteal. An extra 2 lifesteal. So if you can triple trigger Vamp Potion, you're dealing 42 damage. Huh. Matches Heal Potion now. It's still less than the Strong Health Potion that you needed to make it. I think Health Potion base heals you for 12. And then Strong Health Potion heals you for 20. But it does damage now. Well, it does damage when you upgrade it. And I assume this means you can crit with it too, right? We might try some Ranger Potion stuff. A little worried that it comes together too slow. But I could see like Hungry Blade, Potion Bomb being somewhat interesting. Pandemonium gets an extra damage. ILG gets a lot better. Still just as hard to sustain, but swings a lot faster. Huh. Hey, Bilge Frog. Potions really got left behind in the midst of all the power creep post-full release. Yeah. I mean, my understanding was that potions were left behind ever since the Potion Belt nerf, really. But I didn't play the last 3 months of the demo, so maybe I'm mistaken. Protective Purse up to 10 block. Can we... I'm curious what metric is being looked at to buff Protective Purse. Because the win rate of Protective Purse doesn't really tell you very much. Because a lot of comps are picking it up. Just because they want the 1x1. I feel like the biggest buff you could give to Protective Purse is to just remove it from Bag Pity. Just so that when I roll twice, I actually find something that gives me a reasonable amount of space on my board. Like, if the metric here is number of Protective Purses rolled over, the problem is that it's in Bag Pity. Like, you roll into a Protective Purse, it doesn't fix your board, so you roll twice to try to find space that does. And there's going to be a high percentage of Protective Purses rolled over for that reason. This doesn't fix any of the thresholds, does it? How much block do you need for Stone Skin? Items... 45. So what, 3 purses and 2 coals can do it? Doesn't seem realistic. Does anything else care about amount of block? You need 2 for lamp either way. Pandemonium might be the most OP early game weapon in the game now. I mean, it probably was last week too. But like, it's also super strong on Reaper, which is already really strong in the early game. Like, making it stronger in the early game for Reaper doesn't really make you want to make it that much more. It's like, if you get the Corrupted Crystal by turn 5, you're probably making it every time if you've got a pan. If you don't, you might want to save the Corrupted Crystal for something else, or just roll to try to find your Scythe or Goober or whatever piece you're missing. Be interesting if you're more likely to win if you don't buy a purse. You're probably more likely to win the fewer purses that you see in your shops. That would not surprise me. But like, increasing the block doesn't really change that. The issue is it's just a 1x1 when you're probably desperate to find space. Just like this existing removes the point of having Bag Pity in the mid to late game. Potions are always present in Unhealing and Stamsack and Ivy. Was Unhealing still good? Stam, sure. I guess Ivy was... Yeah, I don't know. When I stopped playing, it was a couple weeks after the Potion Belt nerf. And like all of those comps that needed potions didn't really exist anymore. But maybe they came back a little bit after. Like, the Ivy build that was good either didn't play potions or just played a couple potions with Thorn Whip and the Poison Bow. Purses get pushed to rare. No, please don't. Please don't. If there was a rarity above Godly to put Protective Purse, that would be great. If we could just not have these offered until turn 12, that's an upgrade. Like, yes, if you show Protective Purse in more shops, more people would buy it. But, God, please don't. If I could never have a Protective Purse show up in my shops ever, I would be happy. I think it is... I'm pretty sure it is the worst item to have show up in your shop at every point in the game. Because it means if you want to find another bag, you have to roll twice. If it just didn't participate in bag pity, it would be whatever. But, like, if you don't buy Protective Purse, you're effectively adding 2 to the cost of the next bag you buy. Kind of. Assuming you're looking for a bag. So you can either get a 1x1 for 2 gold, and then still have to spend 2 more rolls to find the next bag. Or you don't buy the Protective Purse, and you spend 2 more rolls to get your next bag. Dragon Nest. Gives less heat. Good. Heal from 5 to 4. Okay. This hits the 2 most important parts of Dragon's Nest. The little bit of free sustain, and then the starting heat to make the blades better. Guess that's fine. You two have been personally victimized by Protective Purse. The more I play, the more I hate this fucking item. Just like all these hidden mechanics interact with it to make it miserable. Like if you don't know bag pity exists, then maybe it's not as annoying. But just the way it interacts with that mechanic feels so bad. Burning Sword, heat chance, 50% to 40%. Sure. Burning Blade itself deals 1 less damage. Okay, I guess. Phoenix deals more self-damage. Molten Spear loses, what is this, 1.5 damage? 2 from the bottom end, 1 from the top end. Sun Armor, heal 15 to 12. Man, they really only want to hit the healing on this. Hey, Swanee, thanks for the tier 1. Thanks for the 23. Welcome back. Isn't, like, every Sun Armor that we've seen over the last week and a half just been to fuel Burning Blade? Why are we hitting this part of Sun Armor again? It's already not great at healing. It's the extra 10 starting heat. Like, you could say that both matter, but I just don't know why you would hit this part of it. I don't think Fatigue Pyro has been playable since it went to, like, 20 heal. Staff of Fire, damage +2. Sure. Maybe we'll try that again at some point. You just need so much to make Staff of Fire good. And Staff of Fire eating your heat feels so bad. You really want to be building up heat so that the staff attacks faster. I almost wonder if it's better to just play a magic staff and build up your heat to have a really fast attacking magic staff. Probably not. When you consider the extra 8 gold you had to spend to the Staff of Fire, it just feels so bad. Soon it will just damage you. Sun Armor. Yeah, what happens when this does go all the way to heal 0 and people are still making it because it gives you 10 extra heat? I guess that probably wouldn't happen. It takes up too much space for that. But still. I don't know. I don't think the problem with the current Sun Armor builds is that they're too hard to kill, is that they kill you too fast. And while I guess this makes it easier to try to race them, there's not many comps that are able to just, like, raw race Burning Blade dragons. Like, the comp kills you in 5 or 6 seconds pretty reliably until, like, turn 13 or 14. Flame Whip. Cooldown, 2.0 to 1.7. Does that balance it back with the change from last week? Oops. Yeah, it's now 1.7 to 1.7 again. It gives you 4 heat and +8 damage. God damn. This thing... Okay, so on one hand, you get more heat from Flame Whip, but 2 weeks ago, when we were playing Flame Whip and it was good, Sun Armor was the entire... Sun Armor healing, specifically, was the entire reason Flame Whip felt playable. And now, Sun Armor heals for half as much. Still removes debuffs, though. I don't know. Maybe that's the reason they nerfed Sun Armor this time. It had nothing to do with the concept we're actually playing, but they were scared of Flame Whip. Why can't you ever find a second whetstone? A second whetstone? I don't know. Second whetstone's usually pretty easy. Fourth whetstone is miserable. Brass knuckles. Again. Again. What was this originally? Was it 1.7? Is it now as fast during Battle Rage as it used to be just base? Yes. That's kind of funny. It started at 1.6. Oh, even faster than that. Okay. Yeah, no, I thought what the change was going to be, instead of continually slowing this down every time, was just going to be to change the on hit to, instead of being a 30% chance to stun for 5 seconds and then separately the other effect, I thought they were just going to merge the two and have it be 30% chance to stun for 5 seconds. If you do stun, items gain 5% accuracy and 5% crit chance. Like, it already kind of reads like it plays that way. But instead, they just nerf its speed by 50%, which is sort of the same effect. Except you're also making the stun mode on this worse, rather than just making the main thing that it's being used for worse. I don't know. Soon it just won't swing. Yeah. Like, I think when everyone read this for the first time, they assumed you only had a 30% chance to gain accuracy and crit chance. Which is why it took a little bit longer to catch on. Anvil. Damage bonus from 2 to 1. Is that the biggest single patch nerf of all time? Holy shit. Was Anvil busted? It was busted when you got Ranger Badge, or Rainbow Badge. It was way less common than Knuckles. We had a few games with it, where we were playing it with, like, Magic Torch, and it was pretty good. What the fuck? That's a massacre. What has happened to Anvil over the patches? That's another one that... This was like the level 0 one everyone knew was nuts immediately. What was this, 5% less stamina, plus 2 damage in its initial form? It is now half damage and almost half as much stamina. 3/5 the stamina. God damn. So is this just trying to get people to... Hey, what are even the other subclasses? Does this just force everyone into, like, Shaman Mask? Shaman Mask and Deerwood Guardian? Like, these aren't bad. 10% DR is big. The Battle Rage duration's big. It's just, you really need damage on Zerker. This doesn't give you damage. Like, you already get a bunch of survivability in other places. You could just pick up armors. Because, like, I was pretty high on this the first week that I was playing the patch. Or playing early access. And then I realized the main problem with Zerker isn't staying alive. It's how do you get damage to make staying alive profitable. Fatigue Zerker? I don't think so. They want us to play Crossblades on every class now. It is so hard to make a Crossblades. It almost doesn't matter how much they buff it. That item is Rainbow Goob territory to me. Busted Blade Zerker. Yeah, that is crazy. Busted Blade performed super well last week, according to the data. It just didn't get touched. So I guess the subclasses are the nerf to Busted Blade. Not Rainbow Goob territory strong, though? Well, yeah, that's why I said it almost doesn't matter how much they buff it. Like, it could be buffed to being unbeatable like Rainbow Goob, and it would still be Rainbow Goob. Oh. Wait, what the fuck? Why are we buffing Busted Blade? Sorry, I didn't get that far into the notes. What? Wasn't this, like, the best performing weapon in Diamond Plus. It falls off a bit in the late game. I guess the issue is it doesn't really compete as well in like round 17 or 18 as they want a godly weapon build to. Does this help that at all? I feel like this just makes it even stronger on the turns that it's already good. But like the comps that are racing it are still gonna race it, right? I don't know. Maybe it matters a bit. Like the Ranger Exodia doesn't care about this. So I guess we haven't scrolled down to see what happened to that. It'd be hard to find. That's the issue with it, yeah. It's by the time you're able to go Busted Blade, you've already got your permanent weapon, and you don't want to sell out of what could be your permanent weapon and spend 14 gold and have a combined turn to make a Busted Blade. Like, the issue with it's just the play pattern around it is kind of bad. Rather than the item itself not being strong. Like, do they want you to pivot out of your double axe to go Busted Blade? Are you supposed to leave your chain whip that you've been building around to go Busted Blade? Like, this shows up after you make a Bloodthorn, even. Needlessly large didn't feel horrible. I think I always lost my combined turn that I had a needlessly large. I don't know, that item was garbage, but maybe. It was, like, fine if you got it on turn 8 or 9, but you didn't usually get it that early. Yeah, I guess making the combined turn a bit easier with the buff earlier is the idea, too. Where is it? Yeah. Yeah, this is a big buff. Yeah. 2.5 to 2.2 across the board. I don't know, maybe they do want you to sell your double axe. I don't know how I feel about that. It's just so expensive. Like, do we want the Zerker curve to be... You can, like, double broom until 7 or 8. You probably don't see your Busted Blade reliably until 10 or 11. You get your combine 11 or 12. Yeah, I don't know. You do really want to have something holding you over. Customer card meta. Ah, that's what it is. They just really want people to buy a customer card. Just wanna check something real quick. If we... Oops. We look at just Grandmaster and Grandma games. In this bag meta site, there is a very suspicious number of customer card wins. Very, very suspicious. I wonder why. What do you mean? Customer card's an item that you can very easily cheat with. Makes it a lot easier to hit the sales that you're resetting for. Or hit the things that you're resetting for. Like, Platinum customer card, I think, is also very high to, like, spike uniques. Yeah. Granted, low sample size, but do not trust the legitimacy. Chain Whip. Slightly nerfed. Okay. Will not shed any tears for Chain Whip. Free 10 by all customer cards. Yeah. You can cheese this as to reset shop rerolls. Yeah. There's a bunch of ways to cheat in the game. And customer card just synergizes really well with cheating. Idris Leaf. Mana 1 to 2. Heal 10 to 5. What? So, just a redesign of Leaf? It now is back to giving 20 mana? but all the healing buffs that it's gotten over the last 3 weeks have been reverted. I like that change. The heal buffs were whatever. The heal buffs were never gonna make Leaf appealing, but giving it double mana could. Why? Because no one was really taking Leaf. If you were taking Leaf, it was for regen. Like, the mana builds didn't take Leaf. They fixed Potion Belt. I don't know. Piercing Arrow. Bonus crit damage 30 to 35%. Block removal 8 to 10. At some point, we're just going to be forced to play Piercing Arrow again, and I don't like it. I thought we were there last week with the block removal going up, but we might be there now. I guess if you just don't play bows, it's really not that miserable to position. Like, Magic Staff Piercing Arrow is fine. Those sorts of builds. It's just anytime you're trying to put a bow and arrow on your Piercing Arrow, it is misery. Belladonna Shade. Is this the small one? Yes. I feel like I don't know, maybe 70% to inflict 2 poison and a random debuff. I feel like this is still, like, making a random poison dagger levels viable, but 2.3 poison. Yeah, it is slightly more poison than poison dagger now. And you do get a random debuff out of the exchange, too. It's a lot, though. It's really not. 1.61 on average. Yeah, and then you adjust it for attack speed. Like, it attacks what? How fast is this poison dagger? 3 seconds? Yeah. So this is applying 1 every 1.5 seconds. This is applying... I don't know, someone else can do the math. For early game... It's, like, about the same as a Vamp Dagger. Or a Poison Dagger. Which is not worth making early. It's also not really an early game item. Because the Poison Flask's an epic. And costs 7 gold. Yeah, that's the other thing. Why would you make this when you can make the Spike one? It's 0.94 a second. That's a little bit faster than I thought it was. Still, so it's 50% faster at inflicting poison than a poison dagger. Until they buff it to 4 a hit. Yeah. I feel like that's where poison dagger would have to be playable without hammers. Just as a raw item. Because, like, even when you have Scythe, Poison Dagger is not very exciting. And it's inflicting 4 in that case. Where, like, what is this doing on Ranger? The thing that gets you poison is Ivy, and if you're going Ivy, why would you ever make this instead of Duskpiercer? Duskpiercer gives you a spike and 2 poison instead of 2 poison and a random debuff for half as much gold. Like, there's no other reason to go Poison Ranger, right? It's just Ivy. Yeah. I don't know, seems pretty far from being playable. Critwood Staff, duration 1.0 to 1.2. Now, does 1 glove give it full uptime? No. Oh god, this thing is 1.8? This thing's 1.8. It attacks after all of your other weapons. Even if you speed it up with like 2 gloves. Now the crit wood upgrade is actually strong. Is it? I don't think so. Was the cooldown always that long? I think months ago it was 1.6 or 1.5. That was a long time ago. I don't know when it got nerfed. It's the cooldown on the rocks. 4 seconds? 3.5 seconds? 3.2 seconds? Yeah. This get changed a bunch of times around garlic. Can you load up and shotgun them? If you have stone badge and ways to buff the base damage on the stones, not sure how you would do it, but maybe. No, that is not hitting. That's probably not worth buying. 2 hero swords surrounded by rocks. Maybe? Yeah, I don't know. 2 hero swords, crit wood staff, bunch of... This sounds really expensive. You would also have to sell out of your stone badge. Because you need to find the collar to make crit wood. So you can't just keep getting rocks. Steel goo plus stone bags. Yeah, but you do that without crit wood. You don't need crit wood for that. Like, if you're doing steel goob stone bag, you'd rather just build up crit the normal way. The goob needs time to ramp up regardless. Reaper! Staff of Unhealing. Heal +1. Okay. What are we up to? Has this been buffed like +5 over the last 3 weeks? Do you think it's almost there yet? Nocturnal Locklifter. Lifesteal per vampiric item from 5 to 7. Cool. Cauldron. Heal 12 to 15. Heat 3 to 4. I guess we have to play Cauldron again. Man. It's like, the less interesting part of the Cauldron is the thing that keeps getting buffed. I don't like this at all. Like, eventually, they're gonna buff up the numbers so much that Cauldron eventually becomes worth taking just off raw value. But what kind of world do we live in that case? You're just, like, playing Cauldron as a goob trigger. Relying on Cauldron heals to fatigue your opponent out. In 2 months' time, when this thing heals for 30 per tick. This one provides potion and each shop plus upgrade. That would be a way to incentivize it for sure. It's pretty good if you high roll Jerry. I could see that. Fatigue Cauldron with Jerry. The dream. The real platinum customer card build. You make platinum customer card and then take Cauldron and then try to hit either Fire Dragon, Fire Stone, or Jerry. Then you get to play a real class. You get to be Pyro at home. Leaf to Corrupted Hearts. You get 10 in power. I mean, that's a thing you could already do, right? This isn't changing the regen, it's changing the mana. They want us playing Hungry Blade Cauldron? I don't know. I thought Cauldron was supposed to be the potion subclass. But it keeps getting these buffs that the potion comp doesn't care about. Like, I thought the trigger on Cauldron was just a way to make it feel like not a wasted subclass when you weren't upgrading a potion for a turn, so you didn't want to just cut it. Yeah, potions directly don't incentivize heat. Like, heat does not influence how good your potions are at all. They can affect your other stuff, but if your build is playing a ton of potions and trying to win with your potions, both the heat and mana modes don't do anything. They buffed strong vamp bot. Well, they sure did. They sure did. Leaf for mana, regen, crit woods, and heart. Bombard them with stone. Oh, for that. Yeah. The problem is just getting a billion stones. Like, it's only going to be viable when you have stone badge, right? Otherwise, you just can't get enough stones. But yeah, maybe. Roll blood say, stack the bad boys under it. Vamp potion bomb. My problem with strong vamp potion is I'm pretty sure that every comp that wants to make multiple vamp potions would rather have regular vamp potion. Like, what does this thing give you? So you lose steal 14 life. Well, this does give you only 1 vampirism. This gives you 3 vampirism, but you lose the direct damage, and instead you get percentage life steal temporarily. Cauldron Bloodthorn? Doesn't seem very good. Like, at that point, you could just take Lifter and not have to make a strong vamp potion. I guess the idea is you're triggering this multiple times. But still. Ugh. +9 on the Bloodthorn is big, though. Kind of. Is it really +9? It's not really +9, because you're giving up your strong health pot. And your strong health pot is +6. Sorry, your strong health pot is +6 if you are not triggering it with anything else. This is +9 if you're triple triggering it. Like, if you could just buy these from the shop, it'd be a little more interesting. But for some reason, you have to make a strong health pot and then buy a vamp amulet and then wait a turn. I feel like they're trying to make Cauldron be a make your comp stronger with a strong potion stack more than a potion bomb comp, but I'm not sure how you're supposed to pull that off. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the more interesting way to pull that off isn't with the active on Cauldron, or the cooldown ability on Cauldron. It's just making the strong pots make you want to take Cauldron. But they're just not really there. Like, especially the ones that are unique to Cauldron. It could give you 20 vamp. Yeah, I mean, that might be going a little far, but... Like, if instead of getting percentage lifesteal for 5 seconds, the improvement to Vamp Pot was like, you had more flat lifesteal, and the flat lifesteal scaled off your Vamp. That would be kind of interesting. I don't know, maybe they're worried about scaling damage on potions. Too much, like, 0-second kill potential. Maybe there's already demonics. I don't know. We'll definitely try Cauldron. I don't have very high expectations, but we'll see. The Fool, speed boost 40 to 50. Cool. Blizzard gives more heat, also cool. Lotus gets a bit cheaper. And then here we get some more small buffs. One more random buff on Strong Divine. We were trying to insta-lamp with Strong Divine last week, and even with 2 Divine Potions, it wasn't enough to get the insta-lamp off. We like had 1 triple triggered and 1 double triggered, and we were still missing more than we were hitting. Maybe it works now, but it's still really high investment. But yeah, maybe there's something there where you like take Scythe, have a small potion bomb in order to get Scythe to have 50% crit, and then you try to lamp your Scythe. I think every item that I just named there is legendary or higher rarity, but you know. What is Reaper if not the class of expensive comps? Just buy more pigs. And Strong Vamp. Got an extra Vamp. Okay. Fixed Stone Badge, preventing class items from showing up in the shop after selling it. Fixed an issue, causing items to be non-interactable. Fixed Wardrobe. Blue crafting lines now also show recipes from a different class. Oh. Reworded badges to make clear only the shop is affected. Cool. Ocean Belt fix. Apparently not. It's okay, they're just leaving the social experiment in for another week to see how many people notice. Got built since a few weeks ago. Vamp Potion plus Bloodthorn Burst. Biggest problem, some opponents have tons of armor, your Vamp Potion refuse to trigger. Yeah, that's going to happen. You're also significantly weaker right after subclassing. But yeah, it's just like a lot of gold into questionably useful defensive layers rather than just buying good items. Okay, I want to try regular Vamp Potions plus crit. That's my favorite class. I don't really have a favorite class. It changes every week based on